What's up, you guys? It's Day Day, and we're here for an Insecure review. This is episode 2, season 1, Messy as Fuck. So, we left off last episode with Isa pretty much breaking up with her boyfriend because she is tired of their stale-ass relationship where all they do is watch TV, and order food, and they live a pretty much a boring existence. And Issa's tired of that shit. But we start off this episode with her kind of questioning, does she really want to break up with him? Did she make the right decision or whatever? She's pretty much doubting herself. And she goes out to dinner with Molly, and she apologizes for calling her broken pussy or whatever. And this is what bothered me. Several things bothered me with the script of this episode. Number one, why is Molly owning broken pussy? Like, it just seems unrealistic that a woman would own the fact that she has a quote unquote broken pussy. And we see this whole episode, Molly is pretty much, even answering to broken pussy, like her pussy is broken or whatever. Molly's like, you know what, just, you can be a rapper and all that, but leave, my shit out of it or whatever. And I'm just like, oh my God, why is she owning this broken pussy shit? Molly says that she thinks that Lawrence, who is Issa's ex-boyfriend, is the one for her or whatever. And I have mixed feelings about that. Issa does love Lawrence or whatever. But my thing is this, Molly, would you like Lawrence for yourself? Would you be happy with Lawrence? Because I don't think that Molly will be happy with Lawrence. So I find it kind of fucked up that she would say and try to push Isa back to get with Lawrence, but I'm pretty sure that Molly would not go for a guy like Lawrence. Like, does she think that that Isa deserves less than what she deserves? Isa pretty much is just saying she wants to be her old self. She wants to be that girl who gives no fucks. She wants a guy who wants to ask her things like, what's for breakfast? And the guy saying, your pussy is for breakfast. She just wants some spontaneity, some excitement in her relationship, and I don't blame her for that at all. So while they're at dinner, Lawrence is blowing Issa's phone up, and he's even calling Molly, and of course Molly is not answering the phone. Lawrence is desperately trying to get a hold of Issa. He obviously loves her and wants to make things work with her, but Issa, she just ain't having it right now. So Lawrence calls his friend, and he's pretty much preoccupied watching a sports game or whatever. His friend's like, what's up? And Lawrence is like, I fucked up, her birthday or whatever. And Lawrence just isn't understanding that it's not so much about, him not going all out for her birthday, but more so the fact that Issa feels stuck and she feels like she's settled in this relationship or whatever. So, his friend ends up calling him back because he's too busy watching the sports game, and Lawrence just looks so pitiful. So we are, I forgot to mention that Molly says that she wants to fix her broken pussy. So she wants to, get her nails done, hair, and everything did. She wants to have a fancy day to tune up her pussy, quote unquote, so to speak, or whatever. So they go to the nail salon, and while they're at the nail salon, Issa kind of toys with maybe doing online dating, and Molly's going through all the different dates she's had through the different dating sites or whatever, and she pretty much tells Issa that it's not even about dating anymore. Most of these sites have now become fuck sites, and I have experienced firsthand about how these quote unquote dating websites, and how most of the people up on these dating websites, all they're interested in is fucking and having sex. And Issa, I think that once she hears that from Molly, she kind of backs off from online dating. They're walking because Molly is about to go, get her hair done and get, I guess, some landscaping done around her vaginal area or whatever. And she was like, you can come to Issa, but you can tell that Molly does not want Issa to tag along for this. So Issa's like, fuck, I gotta go deal with my relationship or whatever. So she goes to, in front of the house, and she's like, am I gonna do it right now? Pretty much trying to pump herself up to go and confront and have this conversation with her ex-boyfriend Lawrence or whatever. But in the end, she decides not to, and she goes to Rite Aid instead. And just who happens to be in Rite Aid? Lawrence. Lawrence sees her. He's coming up to her. He's like, we need to talk. Come on, let's talk. And Issa is pretty much not having it. She's like, we are not going to be that ghetto black couple arguing in Rite Aid. And I thought that shit was funny as fuck. So she pretty much walks away. She's not ready right now. We see her. She's back with Molly, and they're talking. Issa pretty much tells her, how she kissed Michael, the dude from the open mic night, and how she pretty much didn't kiss Michael, because she liked Michael, but she kissed Michael to add some spice into her life, basically. So Issa ends up asking Molly for some clothes for work tomorrow, and I'm like, why can't you just wear your clothes, Issa? Girl, when we see Issa next, she is strutting to the office. She is feeling herself, baby. She is working it. Everybody in the office staring at her, looking back at her, trying to figure out why is Issa so confident or whatever. And we figure out that it's because Issa has a presentation or whatever to do, and she is in the break room with her white coworker who's doing it with her, quote unquote, and she's just throwing out all these stereotypical things that you would expect, someone to try to market to urban black and Latino kids or whatever. So they get into the office to present, and Issa is not prepared. She looked so stupid. She didn't have anything about a budget. She didn't have her itinerary planned out, and they're pretty much ripping her to shreds, basically. But then they proceed to throw out all these stereotypical, slightly borderline racist ideas, like we should do a hip-hop session, or we should dance to drums in like in the Congo or whatever. And I'm like, are you guys serious? Issa, she's pretty much getting tired of all them, throwing out all these crazy racist stereotypical ideas. So she's like, can I have 5 minutes, please? But Boss ain't having it. Boss is done. You can tell that she was pretty much disappointed with Issa, because Issa, she wasn't prepared for this presentation or whatever. So Issa goes to her boss's office to, I guess, apologize for not being prepared. And her boss just pretty much tells her flat out, Issa, I hired you because I thought that you were passionate about this. But if you are not passionate any longer and your heart is not in it, you can leave, basically. And you can tell that Issa was taken aback by that. And Issa is saying, you know what? I am passionate. Give me a chance to prove you wrong or whatever. And I guess Boss Lady is going to give Issa another chance. So at work, Molly is doing her thing. We see just how intelligent Molly is. She's talking her lawyer mumbo jumbo, and everybody wants to talk about that Asian girl getting engaged. Like, nobody wants to talk about work, and you can tell that Molly is jealous because Molly knows that if it was her that was getting engaged, she would want everybody to be all over her, asking her about the wedding plans or whatever. So Molly just hating, she'll be fine. Lawrence, I guess he's taking out the trash at him at Isa's place, and he gets some real game spit to him by some hood dude. So he a real hood dude. He got his kid with her, and he is just he's a mess basically. But he pretty much tells Lawrence, if you want to get your girl back, you need to step your game up. Like, this boring shit is not gonna cut it. And I'm like, that's right. I hope Lawrence listening, because he's spitting that real to him. Isa is talking to her coworker, and she thinks about how Molly had grew up in LA and never been to the beach because all she knew was her hood. So she's like, hey, I think the first thing that we should do is take them to the beach and maybe, add some community service to that and have them clean up the beach. And her coworker agree that that is a good idea. Now, here is the interesting part of the episode. So we go to Molly's date. Molly looks beautiful. She's with this very attractive black man, and it's looking like everything is going cool. He knows his wine. He seems pretty smart. He's telling her about these different wines from Argentina and all that stuff. And the date goes really well. So much so that Molly asked to do a coffee nightcap or whatever. And he's like, sure, I would love that. And then he leans in to her ear and says, you trying to fuck though? And oh my God, I could not believe it. I bust out laughing because I was not expecting this nigga to say that. And Molly couldn't either. She was like, are you serious? You think because you showed me these different fancy wines that I'm just gonna let you hit? And this is what pisses me off again. Molly says something about this broken pussy one more time. She's like, the reason I've been upset because I got this broken pussy, but it's niggas like you the reason why I got this broken pussy. And I'm like, I cannot believe she's bringing a broken pussy to yet another guy. We flip for, I guess, to maybe the next day, and Molly's walking her dog and she's eating something, and she sees that cute light-skinned guy from the club or whatever, and he's like, hey, broken pussy. And I'm like, oh my God, Molly just cannot escape broken pussy. So he turns around, she turns around, she's like, hey. And he's like, what's up? And she was like, it was kind of rude how you just, left the club without saying bye. And I'm like, bitch, if you would stop bringing up your damn broken pussy, then maybe guys wouldn't be running off from you or whatever. But they're talking and they're vibing, and you can tell that he really liked her and she likes them. So this is probably going to be Molly's next love interest or whatever. So the last scene we have is with Isa. She's going to finally have this conversation with her boyfriend or whatever, her ex-boyfriend / boyfriend Lawrence. They're talking, and he said something about somebody saying a full sentence. I don't know who he was talking about or whatever, but he tells her that he has a job interview coming up, and she's like, hey, that's what's up. And he was like, yeah, so maybe we'll see how this goes. Maybe him having this job interview would change things, and maybe they'll be able to get back together. Who knows? But all I know is that he's gonna need to spice up something. Something's gonna have to change in order for this relationship to work, because Isa is bored and he's too complacent.